Okay, so we're still filtering using the where clause, but now we're going to introduce something new, the operator like, which will allow us to use wildcards to match text in sort of more expansive ways. So these are really useful and a good thing to be in the habit of knowing. So in our database table for dams, we have a field called near city, which is a notation of what is the nearest city to this dam. And want to suppose that we are looking for a return a list of records that have for the near city that start with the word three letters new or new. So in this case, I could copy this in here and select star from exercises.dams1, where near city, that's the name of our field here, like, this is different than equals, new. So what do we see? We see the letters NEW and then a percent sign, which is one of the wildcard characters we'll use, and then ordered by dam name. So I am going to run this, and let's take a look at near city. Okay. So all of these things start with the word new, and then after them they have an unlimited number of characters, right? So we've got New Cumberland, or Newport, or New Palestine. I wonder if this is a misspelling in the data, actually. New Pittsburgh. We get that with the wildcard operator because it finds these sort of three letters, and then it doesn't matter. If we were just looking for cities where it was equal to new, then we would not get anything back. Okay, so the wildcard symbol can also go at the end. So we're going to do a new query this time where we're looking for the nearest city that ends with burg, like Pittsburgh. So let's run this. And I'm going to run that. And notice that we've got the percent sign, the wildcard symbol, up front. And then at the end, burg. So this says find anything that ends with burg. So we got one. Nearest city is New Pittsburgh. We can also put wildcards at both ends. So let's do another query where this time, instead of looking for the word new at the beginning, what we're looking for is the word, or the three letters, NEW, new, anywhere in the field near city. So this could be news at the end, in the beginning, or just anywhere in the middle. So let's run that. And notice I've got the percent sign, new, and percent. That's how we will figure this out. Okay, so what do we got? Well, we got all the ones we had before, which are things like New, Burlington, and Newport, and so forth. I don't think there's any that end with new, but we do have this one that didn't show up on our previous list, which is South Newbury. It's got new in the middle, so it's got the word South, and then a space, and then the word new, and then a space for Berry. We can also put the wildcard character in the middle. So in this query, we are going to try and find only those cities that start with new and end with town. So let's take a run at this and see what we get back. So notice that new percent town, it's going to look for things that start with new, and then any character sort of in between, and then town. So what do we get back? We get new town, and we get newcomers town. So there's nothing in between here, right? New percent town. And then here there's 6 characters in between, comers. And that's also flagged by the percent symbol. So one thing to note is that the wildcard character, the percent, is sort of the most common used. And what this means is it could be 0 characters in between, like in Newtown. It could be 1 character in between, like let's say we had a city called News, News, town. And then lastly, it can also be any number of characters. So this is Comers. This has 6, so it also collects that too. There's another wildcard symbol, which is the underscore symbol, that looks for exactly one character. So here's an example where we're going to look for run the same query as above. The only difference is that we're using the underscore character instead of the % character. So when I run that, it returns nothing because it's looking for exactly one character. So Newtown, which had no spaces between new and town, didn't pick that up. Newcomers Town, which had 6 characters between new and town, didn't pick that up. If there were a town in our database called Newstown with 1 character, the S in between new and town, it would have picked that up, but there's nothing, so we see it returns no records at all. 2 other things to discuss here. In addition to using like, we can also use the not like operator, which, as it sounds, gives us will exclude records that meet a certain set of criteria. So, for example, let's say we wanted to do a query where we look for the nearest city that does not start with new. So it's going to look really similar to a query we ran above, which I'm going to paste in. So select star from exercises.dam1 where near city is not like. So the only difference was we are adding the word not, like starts with new, and then the wildcard symbol, order by dam name. So I'm going to run that. And what do we have? We have nearest city. I have a lot of cities on this list, but none of them are going to start with NEW when we get down to there. So where's NEW? NEG, NEL, nothing. We did have that one town called South Newberry, and if we look on our sheet, it is there. But again, remember we said we want it as long as it doesn't start with new. We can also use the not equal to operator. So if we're looking for single values, so let's say we just wanted to get everything except for let's say we wanted to, we can use the not operator in conjunction with other things. Instead of like, we could use in. So let's say we wanted to get all the records where the near city is not in a list we give it, and on that list is Newtown or Newcomers Town. So select star from exercises.dams1 where near city not in Newtown, this is an array or a list of strings we're giving it, so Newtown or Newcomers Town, order by dam name. So when I run this, you're going to see a lot of things on this sheet, but what you're not going to see is Newtown or Newcomers Town. You'll see every other thing that should appear on that list. For single values, we can also use the not equal to operator. So let's say we wanted to get everything except for those records where the nearest city is Newtown. We could just do select star from exercises.dams1 near city not equal to Newtown, order by dam name. And then when we run that, we're going to see it's not on there. And then lastly, I want to talk about missing values or null values. These are entries in our tables that are missing. They're denoted by this gray box with the word null in it, and you see it all over the place in this data. Sometimes it can be a problem when null values are nulled out can indicate particularly problematic data. Sometimes there's a very good reason why you may have null values in certain data sets. But it's nice to be able to figure out what is missing and what is not missing. So we're going to use the is null and is not null operators to do this. So here's the first query we want to do is I want to look at the year completed field, the year the dam was completed. And I want to exclude all those values where the year completed is null, where we don't have that information. So I'm going to drop in this query here. So select star from exercises.dam1s where the year completed is not null. That's the phrase there, ordered by dam name. And then I'm going to run that, and we get 1,250 rows back. And as we flip through this years completed, you'll notice there are no longer any null values. Let's say we wanted to examine only those records where the year completed field is null. We want to get a sense of, sort of where there are holes in our data. We might do this, select star from exercises.dams1 where year completed is null, and run that. And now we see all of our null values. Okay, that completes this video.